Welcome to some Immortal Servitude. I hope you are excited to get some stuff going out of the graveyard. As far as the opening hand goes, love it. We've got Glimpse of the Unthinkable, Tygam Scheming. We will keep on this one. As far as your opening hand goes with these decks, one thing that you're always wanting to one thing that you're always looking for is going to be Glimpse of the Unthinkable or something like Hedron Crab, or at the very minimum, the actual Immortal Servitude card in your hand. And that's one of the crucial things. Let's go and get the Misty down. I think I like that. Get the Misty down, then we're going to go and pass the turn. Now, one of the things, it kind of depends on what we're actually going to draw into next turn, but we'll probably end up going for Glimpse of the Unthinkable. We might end up going for Tygam Scheming. That way, if we can kind of secure Immortal Servitude in the hand, if we're playing against some sort of green-black base deck, kind of depends on what we're going to roll out. But since we see Flooded Strand, looks like we might be playing against something like Jeskai Control or something like that. See, we draw into another Polluted Delta. Let's go and do this. Let's go ahead and do we want a double shock at this point right now? Yeah, let's go and crack the Misty. Let's go and get down a Watery Grave. We're going to go and pay 2 on this one. Let's go and get down Urborg, and let's go and go for Glimpse of the Unthinkable, targeting ourselves. Put 10 cards in the graveyard, and then we'll see what kind of comes out from underneath that. Hopefully we'll be online for Grim Flayer, and we'll have Delirium online, then we can start pushing in against our opponent. Now, we might be running into something like a Spell Snare or something. If that is, it's not the end of the world. And we still have Tygam Scheming to start going for. And then hopefully, if it is something like that, maybe we can kind of find our way into Life from the Loam off Tygam Scheming. All right, let's see what it is. All right, it is Spell Snare, so they're going to be able to grab Glimpse of the Unthinkable. You got it. We're going to kick it over there. So we still have Tygam Scheming to kind of fall back on. We do have 2 card types in the graveyard, so once we go for Tygam Scheming, as long as we can get another creature going in there, get some sort of instant like Grizzly Salvage, then we'll be online. But yeah, it looks like we are playing against Jeskai Control. Not too bad. We just really need to get into Boseiju to make sure that we can cast Immortal Servitude. Okay, and we draw into Blood Artist. Let's go and get the... Let's get the Catacombs down. Let's go and crack the Catacombs. Let's go and grab a... that way we don't... Because with Tygam Scheming, you have to put it on top of your library. Let's go and grab the Overgrown Tomb. Not going to pay 2. Let's go for Tygam Scheming. It's going to be black and blue. See if this sticks. They have double Smell Snare. I'm thinking about the Star City game thing. If they have double Spell Snare, then hey, so be it. Props to our opponent. All right, so this is pretty much just one of those that we're going to dump the top 5 cards into our library. If we wanted to, we could put Snapcaster on top. But we're kind of going into top deck mode right now. We want to have a little bit more creature cards in the graveyard. Well, we could always Snapcaster Tygam. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's put Watery Grave, Catacombs, Zillport into the graveyard. And we'll go and put Snapcaster on top. I'm okay with that. So we have Snapcaster on top. We can always go Snapcaster Tygam, kind of depending on what our opponent taps out for. And then we do have at least 5 lands between the land drops and 2 in the hand that we can go for. But if you do not see the deck tech, what is this deck doing? We're doing a lot of self-milling. We are using Immortal Servitude as our Reanimator spell of choice. Now, you could use 4-color Rally or Rally the Ancestors as another Reanimator choice in Modern. Both are completely viable decks. You do get a little bit bottlenecked playing Immortal Servitude with just pretty much the entire deck being 2 drops. But hey, it's fun. I enjoy it. And actually, our opponent got down Geist. Let's go ahead and... We could flash in Snapcaster. Let's go and get down Grim Flayer. I think I like that. We can at least kind of go ahead and force a block on our opponent. Let's go and do that. Let's go for Grim Flayer. That's going to be black and green. We'll go and get down the Polluted Delta. And let's go and get down Blood Artist. I like that. Get down Blood Artist. We can always at least chump block on Geist with Blood Artist and kind of force a little more triggers on the battlefield and get into the graveyard. Now, as far as our creature count goes, in the graveyard, not looking so hot. All we have is Zillport Cutthroat. One of the main things that we're looking for in this deck is going to be a sack outlet, and we don't have Bloodthorn Vampire. We actually have 2 copies of Bloodthorn Vampire, 2 or 3, and then 1 copy of Drawshopper. The reason for that split is so we can kind of get around something like Pithing Needle or Surgical Extraction. All right, opponent's going to be swinging in with Geist. We're probably walking into a Lightning Bolt on Grim Flayer if we go for this. Or Path to Exile. I think either way I'm fine with that. We haven't hit our swamp for the deck. There we go. All right, opponent did have Path on that. That's fine. We'll go and grab that land. Let's go and grab a swamp. That comes into play. And with them using that Path, I'd love to hold on to Snapcaster to go for something like Noxious Revival. Yeah, let's go and go for Blood Artist. That way, we want Blood Artist in the graveyard. We don't want to lose it to another path or something like that. Opponent's going to lose a life, and we're going to gain a life. But yeah, as far as this point right now, you always kind of want to hold on to Snapcaster for Noxious Revival or bringing it back to your hand somehow. But with Geist on the battlefield, that's going to be a pretty big clock. We're almost looking at almost a 2-turn clock. It basically is a 2-turn clock if they have something like Electrolyze or Lightning Bolt that they can kind of send up top. So we've got a pretty big clock going, so we need to get some stuff moving. So we're probably going to go for Snapcaster Tygam next turn. Might be walking into Counterspell, but hey, it is what it is. We're going to have to go ahead and force it. In fact, let's go ahead and go. So we have 2 blue. If we go, it's going to be make the land drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and get down Grim Flayer. Let's do that. Let's go for Grim Flayer. See if we can't draw out a Counterspell. It'll be another chump blocker for Geist. At least kind of stop them from swinging in, hopefully. And then, yeah, okay, looks like it might be getting Spell Queller, too, on this one. All right, Snapcaster, and then they're going to probably go for Spell Snare. All right, I'm fine with that interaction. It still buys us another turn to kind of dig for something with Snapcaster. All right, opponent's going to go Snapcaster on Spell Snare, taking care of Grim Flayer. And then let's go ahead and we need to grab another blue source. Let's go and crack the blue to Delta. Let's go ahead and shock in that water. Unfortunately, we're going to have to double shock on this one. It's going to be 1, 2, 6. That's going to be 8. And we'll still have Snapcaster to chump block. They've got 1 card in hand. We're going to have to go for this one either way. So we're just going to go ahead and flash in Snapcaster. Let's go for Tygam Scheming. Just to see what we can kind of come up with. You know, we're getting the spots where maybe we can kind of hit. Okay, we actually don't hit that much over there. If we rip into Immortal Servitude, we top deck it. This is actually perfect for us to get in there. We do have a sack outlet. Yeah, we do have Bloodthorn Vampire, Zulaport Cutthroat. So what we're going to do on this one, we're just going to go and put all of them into the graveyard. And just keep our fingers crossed that we rip into Immortal Servitude, and then we can cast it. All right, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, as far as our creature count goes, it's going to be, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, 7 total creatures. I don't think we'll be able to close it out fully, but at least we can kind of go ahead and force the chump block right now on guys. We'll see if they have another source of removal. I felt they probably would have used it by now, or at least we'll see if they're going to use it before we go to blockers. Now, as far as what we want to sideboard in, this is one of those decks we're probably going to end up bringing in the Kite Sail, Cryptic Command, tap all creatures, draw a card. Okay, and that will be lethal. We'll go and let them swing it across. It's going to be 4 from Snapcaster and Geist, and then 4 in the air, putting us down to 0. Okay, yeah, let's go and bring in. We might be running into Rest in Peace. I think I'm okay with this though. Let's go and bring in. Let's bring in some Tarmogoyfs. Let's go ahead and bring in. Let's bring in the Kite Sail Freebooters. That's going to be 6 cards right there. Let's back off the Empty the Pits. Let's back off Jace. It's going to be 3 cards that we need to cut. Let's go and back off 1 Glimpse the Unthinkable. We did see Spell Snare over there. And back off 1 Noxious Revival. And then what else sounds good? I like leaving in the Immortal Servitudes. Let's go and back off just 1 Zulaport. Excuse me, 1 Zulaport Cutthroat. Okay, I like that. And let's go ahead and ship this one over to game 2. Okay, welcome back to game 2. Now, as far as our opening hand goes, we've got Blood Artist and Noxious Revival and a lot of lands. This is not exactly what you want to keep, so let's go and mulligan on this one. You always want to have some sort of enabler. Okay, wonderful. We've got Hedron Crab, but probably walking into Path to Exile, but we're going to shock and get down Hedron Crab as quickly as possible. We're going to keep on this one. We also have Tarmogoyf in the hand. Beseiju. Ooh, okay. Let's go and do this. I'd like to get down Hedron Crab. We can make the land drop next turn. Do we want to just wait and then get down Hedron Crab after that? I'll have to go for the Misty. Let's go and do it. Let's just go and put this on the bottom. We need to kind of really throw the kitchen sink at our opponent. The more we kind of piddle paddle around, it gives them a little bit more of a chance to kind of find some answers. Let's go and shock Misty Rainforest. Let's go and get down the Water Grave. We're going to pay 2 on this one. Get down Hedron Crab, and then we're going to go and pass the turn. So we'll be able to get down Overgrown Tomb. That'll be 3 that we can target ourselves with Hedron Crab. And then we still have Noxious Revival in the hand. So what we can do with that is if we do finally hit, let's say we do finally get the graveyard going, we can we run into Immortal Servitude, we can pay 2 life to put it on top of our library and then draw into that. But Boseiju, with us playing against Jeskai Control and them having answers for stuff, it'd be nice to have that. But at this point right now, I want to get as much milling as possible, and Hedron Crab definitely gets it done. He's all-star of the deck. Love Hedron Crab. Just a better feeling than milling yourself with Hedron Crab. Love it. All right. Let's see what we draw into. Draw into another Tarmogoyf. And in fact, yeah, let's go ahead and go for it. Let's go and shotgun the Overgrown Tomb. We're going to pay 2 life. Going to send that 3 over here. Let's see if we kind of hit a few more card types. We do have, oh, wonderful. So we do hit, we've got some 4 or 5 Tarmogoyfs. I like it. Let's go and get that down. Now that will put our opponent on having something like Path to Exile to take care of Tarmogoyf. It will not stop Lightning Bolt. So with us getting down Tarmogoyf, it kind of gives us a good clock. And in fact, well, we're not going to swing with Hedron Crab, just in case something kind of happens. But yeah, so we do have Tarmogoyf out of the sideboard. What this does, it allows us to kind of just really apply some pressure on our opponent. It kind of does conflict with, if our opponent does have Graveyard Hate, they're probably going to bring it in against our deck. But if they don't have it, what we can do is we can just basically buy some more time with Tarmogoyf and start swinging in, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. Okay, so we draw into Bloodthorn Vampire. Let's go ahead and get the Urborg down. Let's go ahead and force the Hedron Crab trigger, targeting ourselves. At this point right now, we're really just looking for life from the loam. That would be wonderful. Let's go and push in for 4. Let's see if we can kind of draw out any action on our opponent. Swinging for 4 is going to put them down to 13 unless they have something. And then we can follow it up with Tarmogoyf again on the back end. Going to get down Tarmogoyf. Now, as far as having Tarmogoyf in the main, that's something that we could do, but usually when you're playing Immortal Servitude, Tarmogoyf would work perfectly in there. But game 1, you really want to catch your opponent off guard. You really want to be able to go all in with Lightning Helix on poor Hedron Crab. And that's one of the best things about playing this deck, is that you get down something like Hedron Crab and he's going to draw a Lightning Helix because he's so good in here. I love it. But yeah, so you could run Tarmogoyf in the main in this deck if you wanted to, but usually you want to just kind of go for the quickest punch as possible. And having Tarmogoyf in there doesn't really allow any milling. It does give you a beat stick, but Grim Flayer kind of fits that beat stick role, so I'm okay with that. And then Kitesail Freebooter. Let's go ahead and yeah, let's go and force it. Let's force the Kitesail. See if they got anything in hand. They've got 5 cards in hand and 3 mana. So with Kitesail, it enters the battlefield. Target opponent reveals their hand. We get to choose a non-creature, non-land card from it and exile it until it leaves the battlefield. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up. That's enough. We got double Tarmogoyfs coming across for 8. Puts them down to 8. And then I guess Kitesail, more than likely our opponent had just maybe Cryptic Command in the hand or something, and that was going to be it. So I'll take game 2 off of that. Now, as far as what we want to change, I think we're good. I like going kind of beat 6 with Tarmogoyf and Kitesail. Abrupt Decay, it's not really going to catch the... we could bring in something like Abrupt Decay or Fatal Push to kind of catch Spell Queller. We didn't see it, but we could bring in Liliana. That'll be another clock for our opponent. But that's just going to be dead to one of the Angels off guys. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Let's go and shift this one over to game 3. Welcome back to game 3. Now, as far as the opening hand goes, oh, I love it. We've got Grim Flayer, we've got Grizzly Salvage, we've got Life from the Loam. If we don't hit that second land, we look really silly. Man. Okay, so let's kind of weigh this out. So we got Misty, that's going to give us a good Tarmogoyf. We have to, if we don't hit the land, we're just kind of really stuck in this Nomad's land. But we have Immortal Servitude in the hand, and this deck does not mulligan very well. And I like the creature heavy loadout because, that can hopefully kind of draw out some... Yeah, let's risk it. We're going to go and keep on this one. We got Life from the Loam. We've got Grizzly Salvage. I like this one. We'll keep our fingers crossed to the Magic Gods that they give us a second land. I'm telling you, when you keep those one-landers and you're just like, please, please, Magic Gods. Just give me a second land so I don't look like a magic fool. Like your opponent can do that little head nod like, oh, kept a one-lander. Okay, I see. I've done that before. All right, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed. We'll have at least 2 more draws to go for that. And do we hit the... Okay, wonderful, just like we drew it up. Let's go ahead and get the Misty down. That way we can grab a black-blue source, and then we can go ahead and pass the turn. Oh, it feels so good whenever you hit that land. All right, now as far as our game plan goes, we've got Life from the Loam, we have Misty. We're probably going to go for that, at least at this point right now, to kind of start getting our graveyard going. It's going to allow us to start working towards a really nice Tarmogoyf. We can also, maybe we get into spots where we have Delirium active. We can get on Grim Flayer, and hopefully kind of stop our opponent's Misties. Not Misties, but the Geist from coming across. All right, see your opponent's going to tap out Serum Visions, okay? And then this, man, I was so happy whenever they announced that they're going to do like a promo version of Serum Visions. And I don't know, it's just a weird looking card. Not a huge fan of it. I was like, if this is going to be the modern spell, this is going to be the modern blue cantrip, can we please have some, I don't know. Anyway, it's a different art, different style art. Let's go and crack the Misty. Let's go and grab a blue source off that one. Let's grab a Watery Grave. Not going to pay 2. Nope. And then let's go and kick it back over there. So we have 1 card type. There's 2 card types in the graveyard. If we want to go ahead and jam Tarmogoyf, opponent is shields down. And we're just on the Tarmogoyf's only going to get better. I think I like that. Let's go and shock in the Overgrown Tomb. Get that down. You know, that puts them on having Lightning Heal. It's going to be 2/3. It's going to make it a 3/4. Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. It's 2/3. If they get an instant in the graveyard, it'll be a 3/4. We haven't seen a white source yet, so we don't really have to worry about Path to Exile. Maybe they're waiting to get it out there or something like that. Maybe they just kept a little bit of a slower hand. But the main thing is we finally hit Boseiju. So we can start dredging Life from the Loam. And we also have Immortal Servitude in the hand, so we can cast that off Boseiju. Then we'll be in a good spot. But more than likely, next turn, we're probably going to go for Life from the Loam. That way we can at least start making our land drops and then go from there. All right. Opponent did find a white source off the plains. Let's see what we draw into. Draw into Blood Artist. Okay, let's go and do this. Let's go ahead and I don't think we want to swing in. Let's go Life from the Loam on Misty, just to kind of make it look like we need to make the land drop for the turn to see if we can't draw a counterspell main phase. And then we can, worst case scenario, we'll just get down Misty, and then we can always crack that in response. Okay, let's go and kick it over that. I don't think we want to swing in. Kind of puts our opponent on. If they do have an instant spell, it's going to go into the graveyard. We can crack the Misty in response to that, since it is a 1/2 if they go for something like Lightning Bolt. All right. And then next turn, once we get that in there, we'll be able to dredge Life from the Loam. We'll have a nice Tarmogoyf to swing in. Then we can also even get down Grim Flayer and then start going Beat Sticks. Grim Flayer, oh, I was so glad he got printed. So like this is the first deck that I got into Modern with, and I spent a lot of time playing this. Spent a lot of time brewing for it. And one of the things that I would always look out is before I did my channel was 2 drops that would fit into the deck because it's Immortal Servitude for 2. And so whenever they printed Grim Flayer, at that point I'd kind of stopped messing around with the deck. We have a lot of green in the hand, so I'm going to grab an Overgrown Tomb. But with Grim Flayer, it works perfectly in here. You know, once we have Delirium online, we can start dumping those cards in the graveyard. Oh, love it. All right, and Tarmogoyf is sitting at a 2/3. Let's go and dredge Life from the Loam. It actually stays the same, stays at 2/3. Okay, let's go ahead and get down Boseiju. I like that. Now we get into spots where we can swing in with Tarmogoyf at a 2/3. We do have Grizzly Salvage we can go for in response to something to kind of give a. That's one of the fun things about playing any sort of Sultai based deck, or I like to play a lot of Sultai, kind of Sultai Death Shadow, Sultai Delver. One of the fun things that you can do. Let's do it this way. Let's go Life from the Loam on one of the lands. Let's grab that Polluted Delta. We're going to click OK. That's going to be green and then black. That way we get the land back to the hand. Tarmogoyf sitting at a 2/3. I'd like to get down Boseiju, but at this point right now we literally have no creature cards in the graveyard, so we're just kind of sitting right here. If we get it, awesome. If not, then we can go for Boseiju and we'll just kind of dredge and go again. But it is kind of nice having this Tarmogoyf clock on our opponent. All right, let's go and get the Polluted Delta down. Let's go and push in for a 2/3. I think what we may end up doing is we may end up cracking the Polluted Delta just to see if we can't get a little bit of a combat trick. But yeah, Grizzly Salvage, a lot of fun. If you like Sultai, you want to build any sort of Sultai deck, throw this into Sultai Death Shadow, Sultai Emerge. Just run anything that you can run Grizzly Salvage in. It's a wonderful magic card. Best magic card out there. All right, swinging it for 2. It's like I'm an unofficial salesman for Grizzly Salvage. All right, pushing it for 2. Let's see if this is going to draw some action from our opponent. All right, so we will see the Path to Exile. We do not hit a swamp yet. Yeah, we're fine with that. It's not really matter with Grizzly Salvage. We can get down Boseiju. We'll be in a good spot. You don't have a sack out or anything. Yeah, that's fine. Go for it. Okay. Yes, we're going to use that ability. We do miss out on Tarmogoyf. We'll get the swamp onto the battlefield. And then anything else. I guess what we could do is we have no creature cards in the graveyard. Yeah, I like going for Grizzly Salvage on our opponent's turn. That way we can kind of at least maybe complicate some mana. It looks like they're a little tight on blue mana, which is absolutely delightful to me. That means that we can't, oh, excuse me, to get down on Sulfur Falls. But at least, yeah, we'll go and force the Grizzly Salvage on this one. I like this. Kind of puts us in a spot where we can just roll out double Grim Flayer next turn or something like that. And then, yes, we're going to go and shock in that Watery Grave. We're going to go and pay 2 on this one. Let's go for Grizzly Salvage. And that will give us, so at this point right now, we just have Sorcery and Land in the graveyard. That's going to be instant, and then we'll have Creature card in the graveyard, so we'll be online for Grim Flayer. Now, is there anything that we want to put into the hand? I think I like Hedron Crab. Get the Kite Sail down there. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's go and put Hedron Crab into the hand. We're going to make the land drop next turn. That turns us on Delirium, and so we can really just kind of roll out all of our creatures next turn. I like it. Let's go and dredge Life from the Loam. And then let's go ahead and let's get down Hedron Crab. It's going to be blue. We'll make the land drop off with Seiju. Get the Hedron Crab trigger targeting ourselves. It's going to be 3 going into the bin. So right now our creature count is sitting at 2. We've got a creature count of 3. Let's go ahead and go for Grim Flayer, green and black. See if this draws out a counterspell. If it is, it's not the end of the world. All right, let's go for another Grim Flayer. It's going to be another full 4 body. Get that down. And then we're going to go and pass the turn. We'll kind of start working towards our Aristocrats package once we pass it over to our opponent. But yeah, so this is one of those things where it really kind of helps to write it down. So right now we have 2 Kite Sails. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. So really only sitting at 3 creature cards in the graveyard. We do have 2 more 2-drops on the battlefield, but more than likely our opponent's going to find some way to either exile them or take care of them or leave them on the battlefield. So at this point right now, we're just really missing a Sack Outlet and a Blood Artist style effect. We can still get down Blood Artist, which will allow us to kind of go for something like that. But with Life from the Loam, we're probably going to just start grabbing from some fetch lands, and that's going to allow us to really start working towards our graveyard. All right, let's see what our opponent's tapping out for. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they're tapping out for 4 mana. See what they have to show for it. Worst case scenario, we're going to be swinging in with Grim Flayer. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, and then basically it's just got Taigan Scheming for 3. So if they don't have something kind of stop Grim Flayer, we might be able to jam Immortal Servitude next turn. They're sitting at, oh, Damnation. No, excuse me, Supreme Verdict. Okay, that's not bad. We still have Life from the Loam. Let's see. Draw into Zulaport Cutthroat. Okay, let's get Life from the Loam going. Let's go ahead and choose a few more lands. And on this one, we want to keep our land count really high in the hand. And the reason for that is we want to, we get into spots where, let's say that we do draw a few more creatures. What we can do is get down stuff like, we can dump Blood Artist and Zulaport into the bin. Let's go ahead and get down Misty. And is that exactly what we need to go for? So we're looking at dredging Life from the Loam next turn. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's go and crack the Misty. Let's go and get that Watery Grave, and we're going to pay 2 on this one. Let's go for Blood Artist. It's going to be black, and then black. Let's go and go for Zulaport. Now, the fun thing with Zulaport, or excuse me, not with Zulaport, with Blood Artist, is that, let's say that we did have Blood Artist on the battlefield and our opponent went for Supreme Verdict. Now, this is one of those scenarios to where Blood Artist is going to trigger for everything that blows up on the battlefield. So we had, I think we had 3 creatures, and it'd be 4 with Blood Artist. Let's say our opponent had Geist out there. We'd at least get a Blood Artist for 5, which will allow us to get some good stuff going. Now, as far as what we want to go for, you know, we are trying to use Immortal Servitude in a way to win the game as soon as it gets on the battlefield. If we go for Immortal Servitude for 2, we can cast it with Boseiju. It puts our opponent on having Supreme Verdict, so we could just kind of go for a value win out of the graveyard. I don't know about that. That just really puts our opponent on Supreme Verdict, Snapcaster, Supreme Verdict. I'm not a huge fan of that line of play. It would put us in a spot where we might be able to close it out because we're basically going to keep Delirium active once we keep Hedron Crab in the graveyard, and we'll have Tarmogoyf online. But yeah, I just not a huge fan of kind of leaving us open like that. So at this point right now, we're just going to keep dredging Life from the Loam in hopes that we do finally hit something like a Sack Outlet. I feel that's going to be our safest bet. If we wanted to, we could push that. All right, opponent's going to go for Celestial Purge. Get that exiled. That's going to happen. Let's go and dredge Life from the Loam. Snapcaster and Blood Arts. Okay. Let's go and go for another Life from the Loam. We're going to get his get a few more lands in. Let's grab that Urborg. Let's go for Overgrown Tomb. I'm going to grab that Misty. Okay, it's going to be green and then black. If they want to counter it, they can counter it. All right, let's go back to the hand. At this point, we're just going to start leaving the lands in our hand. That's going to be our best bet. Let's go and push in for 1. Yeah, our opponent's not really. They're just kind of sitting on like 3 cards, so it makes me feel like they are sitting on Snapcaster or something like that. So I don't feel comfortable going for that. We could, if we needed to. Let's say that we were going to be dead in a few more turns. We still have the Immortal Servitude line to go for. Actually, yeah, we're just going to go passive turn. Going to hold on to these lands. I just want to keep dredging, kind of get that creature count up. So at this point right now, we did get Blood Artists exiled. We still have 2 more Blood Artists in the grave in the deck itself, and we still have 2 more copies. Actually, we have 1 more copy of Zulaport. So, but with them being at 19, it's not going to be the end of the world. We've already got 2 creature cards, Spell Queller on the battlefield. Okay, that's fine. And let's see. So that's going to be exile target spell converting mana cost 4. Okay, so with Immortal Servitude on the stack and Spell Queller, what we can do is we can actually get around that. And at this point right now, with them having Spell Queller, us putting it down to 8, we may end up going for Immortal Servitude next turn. We have to. We'll dredge Life from the Loam. We do have at least Blood Artist, so if we can somehow get a sack outlet, we might be able to get some stuff at going. Probably the best dredge that we could go for would be Noxious Revival and a sack outlet that allows us to put it back on top and recast Immortal Servitude. So wishful thinking, but we'll see what we can kind of get into. But we may end up going for that kind of value Immortal Servitude here in a second, just because, like I said, we're dead to Spell Queller coming in for 2, 6, and then just double Lightning Helix, double Lightning Bolt, and that's a good game, especially with Geist on the battlefield. Yes, we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, we need to apply some pressure on our opponent. Definitely going to go for the dredge option, though. Let's go and dredge Life from the Loam and keep our, come on, sack outlet. Oh, wonderful. Zulaport and Blood. Okay, and that's going to put them at that. Yeah, let's go and go for it. Let's go and get down Urborg. I don't think we're gonna have enough to close it out, but we're gonna try our best. Let's go and go for Immortal Servitude. It's gonna be double black, and make sure that we leave up. Let's go and go black, black, black. That's gonna be 3. Pay 2 life, puts us down to 6. Now what we can do is let's go and tap out the Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, I like that. Okay. X is going to be 1, 2, 3. Make sure that X is 2. Okay. So we're going to have Immortal Servitude for 5. We hit a wonderful dredge off that Zulaport, Blood Artist, Bloodthorn Vampire. We'll see if that's enough. I'm doing the math in my head really quick, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's give it a check real quick. Let's go for Snapcaster targeting Tygam Scheming, and then Kite Sail. Let's see if they've got in the hands. Let's see if we can't get this to resolve first. The Logic Knot and Cryptic Command. Okay. Let's go and grab that Logic Knot. We'll go and grab that Cryptic Command 2 off the other Kite Sail. Go and grab that Cryptic Command. So at this point right now, we've got 3 copies of Blood Art. So it's going to be 3, 6, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, we've got enough to actually go and go for it. So let's go and do that. Let's go and sacrifice Grimflayer. It's going to be 3 up top. Oh, beautiful. Love it. I'm going to go and yield to Zulaport. That Life from the Loam Dredge was just absolutely delightful. Okay, get them down to 2. It's going to put them down that. Let's go and sacrifice the Grim Flayer. And then Blood Artist up top. Oh, yes. And then we're going to go ahead and sacrifice Snapcaster. Now, one of the things I'm glad they changed this was used to, you could accidentally double-click on Bloodthorn Vampire and sacrifice Bloodthorn to our own ability. And that was one of the worst things in the world. I hated that. It would always just be a little bit... It'd just be like, dang it. Especially if you had it planed out just enough. So, all right, opponent's going to scoop it up. So it's going to put them down there. So basically, we're going to get them down to about 3, sacrificing our non-Zulaport and our non-Blood Artist creatures. And then once we get down to that part, we would use Bloodthorn Vampire to sacrifice Zulaport. That would ping them for 2. Use Bloodthorn Vampire to sacrifice Zulaport again. That would ping them for another 2. And then we could sacrifice Blood Artist to kind of close it out right there. So that will be enough with triggers coming across. Oh, yes, we got rewarded for holding on to that 1 lander hand. All right, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.